Hello, hello. Just waiting on one more competitor to jump in. I didn't even realize Turin was going to be streaming today, because, he, unlike other people, doesn't ping on Discord when he's going live, and YouTube is too potato to send me notifications, apparently, so, it is what it is. But we're going to be chilling in the meantime. Ice Power is on his way here. We're going to have him just out of region first. Get to it. Yeah, I've been working all day, not really paying attention to Discord in general, so of course I would be streaming at the same time as Turin, but it is what it is. Okay, just... Okay. I think we're good there. Hello, hello. Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's pretty much over, yeah, then I was hoping I could kind of catch towards the tail end of it, but... If you all scream my name, I'll appear. Perhaps. Perhaps. Excellent. Ice Power's here now, so I'll let them get their faction picks locked in. Let's go ahead and say... Welcome. Start Ice Power picks and double bands. So get his faction selections locked in. Go ahead and pop over to the main screen here. Hope y'all are doing well. Oh, turn's just wrapping up right now. Hey, how about that? Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. I'll go ahead and drop this around in a few places then. Okay. Sorry, just getting some things squared away on the side here. Yeah, this is going to be stream on YouTube. These kinds of King of the Hill streams are going to start being on Twitch more often than not, and kind of the casual multiplayer streams. I'll still do big hosted tournaments on YouTube, but I do want to start kind of building up my Twitch following as well, so that I've got some options. Don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. Here. Okay. Doing good, Leo. Got a bunch of stuff done for my day job. Yeah. My pleasure, Patty Wampus. Looks like we are going to have Empire versus Dark Elves. Excellent. Interesting matchup. Two very well-balanced factions. Should be in for a grand old time. Don't mind me as I adjust my mic. Apologies if that's kind of loud for you guys. Just go ahead and smack it all over the place. There we go. There we go. Yeah, getting pretty excited about some things coming up. I mean, obviously, there's the release of Troy. I'm super excited to Creative Assembly put out basically the confirmation they're going to be doing the Wood Elves DLC. I love those old world updates. Anytime they do that, it's always awesome to see one of those factions kind of brought up to where it should be. Honestly, they are not great in campaign right now. Okay, looks like these guys are pretty much ready. Yeah, Wood Elves campaign should be fun. I'm really interested to see what they do with it. I mean, there's so many things you could do lore-wise. So many different interesting mechanics. The main thing, of course, everyone wants is just change Amber so that it doesn't suck. Amber is the worst. Just figure out some other way of kind of representing that dichotomy between the tree units and the elf units, right? Cold one and a cool one. Nice. Hey man, glad I could make your day. That right now the stream 100% worth it just because of that already. So there's only up to go from here, right? Cool. Welcome, guys. Ah, get a little stretch in there. Oh yeah. Been too long since I've done one of these casual King of the Hills. Been super busy with my day job. Yeah. Grateful that I still have my day job, I should say that. Not everyone can say that right now, and especially in the industry I work in, which is the restaurant industry. Yeah. I'm lucky to still have a job, I'll say that much. Very grateful. Even though it's been a little extra hectic lately. What's up, Arju? Malverde? Yeah. Gonna get it going today. Got all the fun here, starting on, what is this, Colchin Plains, I think? I forget the name of the map. It's a pretty good map. Nice and open, decently well balanced. Got these lizard structures all over the place. Nice. Thanks, Ice Power. Appreciate it. Perfect timing. How about that? Love it. Okay. Hopefully someone didn't crash. I think we're alright. Taking a second to load in. Admire some of the artwork in the background. I'm curious to see what units the Wood Elves are going to get, right? Because I mean, their roster is basically full. There's a few, like, unit variants they could add, like Glade Riders with spears, but that's not really enough to sell a DLC on, right? So, I'm wondering if they're just going to go, like, super character heavy and not really have, like, too many units, like, only maybe, like, one or two new units, maybe? And then just, like, lots of characters? Or maybe they'll just make some units up? I don't know. Oh, no worries. First load of the day takes a while. You got the old hard disk? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's all good, though. No worries. Just got hired again. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. The wild world out there right now. I got a couple of close friends who were looking for work. Yeah, it was the timing of it too was rough. A lot of my good friends here in Salt Lake City, obviously, we're well known for our ski resorts. Like, we hosted the Winter Olympics in 2002, and just in general, there's like tons and tons of ski and snowboarding resorts around here. And usually this season lasts like late into April and May, just because up at the higher elevations, you still keep the snow. And the pandemic lockdown hit like right towards the tail end of their season. I mean, they still had probably like 2 solid months left, especially given the way the weather was this spring. Would have been really, really nice, but yeah, it's rough for them. Kind of rough for the whole economy. It has a bit of a trickle-down effect on the whole area. I mean, not that we're totally reliant on that. Like Salt Lake City and just the Utah in general, the populated area is pretty big. Fun, though. Good place to live. Lots of outdoor activities to be done, which is great during a time like this. Can get out, social distance, and still, you know, get exercise and have a good time. Yeah, I mean, Vampire Coast, a lot of their units there was a a supplemental magazine. I think it was a White Dwarf magazine. And like Kislev 2, I'm fully expecting for Game 3. And given that not Creative Assembly, I guess probably Creative Assembly and Games Workshop together are developing like new Kislev stuff for the old world. Like especially if you look at the art style of the concept art that Games Workshop has been releasing, it looks very similar to the concept art of Total War Warhammer. And I don't know, that could just be its coincidence that, you know, concept artists may look similar, have similar styles, but in my opinion, it looks like they might have be the same person. I can't say that 100%. But yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, I'm totally losing my train of thought, so let's just go ahead and take a look at these builds here. Outer Region coming in with the Empire up against Dark Elves. We've got 2 cannons. Pretty good stuff. One of them, the Hammer of Witches, to hammer said witches. One specific interaction here, Malekith does have physical resistance, as I think Marathi does as well. Maybe she has magic resistance, I can't remember. Anyway, Hammer of Witches is definitely a solid choice here. Got a front line of some state troops, a couple of huntsmen mixed in, yep, couple of pistoliers. What is that, Marcus Wolfheart, Deathcaster, and a Witch Hunter. Very interesting. I like that kind of ranged component there. On the other side, it looks like Manticore Beastmaster. Got a mix of Corsairs with some Dark Elf Militia Spears. Good old Fear Spears. Sad Swords. No Sad Swords, actually. Yeah, Dark Riders with Shields, Witch Elves. Nice kind of well-balanced build. Some Dark Shards with Shields. Shields are a pretty good pick here. I mean, Empire does outrange you for the most part, and even something like, you know, archers that have the same range, or maybe slightly lower. I mean, they're just way cheaper, right? So you don't want to be trading into them just 1-to-1. I do like the concept of like the Pavis crossbowmen, but I mean the fact that they're emo elves kind of lets it down. Really hoping at some point we get a like a Southern Realms faction or a Dogs of War or something that has a human Pavis crossbowman, like a proper Genoese with like heavy armor, decent combat stats, thick shields. Yes, Ancient Tree Men mount. Forest Spirit units, yeah. Great Stag. So is the Great Stag, is that like a giant single entity stag? Or what is that exactly? Yeah, I like Ice Power's Dark Elves here. It's pretty wide and well balanced. You do have to be careful with this High Beastmaster, because he's your only source of terror. He's not too expensive, though. If you take him with the specific kit, probably, yeah, it looks like he might even have a cheaper kit than what I would roll with. He doesn't really have any units that would benefit from Lash, so I get why he didn't bring it, but I definitely like Lash a lot, especially in this matchup. Even if you had just like 1 or 2 units of Cold One Knights to help countercharge Empire Knights, it's definitely worth it to take Lash. But here, I mean, maybe there's an argument to be made. You could even use it on the Dark Riders, because I think it's, what, 36% charge bonus? Maybe. Get like an extra 10 charge bonus on that from Dark Riders, which isn't nothing, but I guess it's not super impactful. Cannon's doing some good work here, though. Pistoliers doing some great skirmishing up front as well. Fireball comes in to try and snipe one of the cannons, and it does detonate it. Beautiful shot there. So Hammer of Witches down to only 2 guns. Will lessen the damage impact a little bit there. Going after the Dark Riders primarily first. That's kind of the benefit of this Dark Elf build, is because it's so wide. You know, whatever targets, basically except for the Beastmaster, whatever targets he takes, you know, fire on is going to be okay. But the Beastmaster here, nice combo with the Accusation to lower his armor and missile resistance there. And use the Huntsman. Oh, looks like he does get through on the charge, though, with these Dark Riders, able to circumnavigate those Spearmen. And along with that Burning Head, immediately break those Huntsmen. So some nice counterplay back and forth, but that High Beastmaster is getting absolutely wrecked. It's a rough day for him at the office, as well as for this lag here, but hopefully it stabilizes soon. We should be okay. It's a bigger stag. Okay, interesting. Could be an SEM. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Oh man, yeah, the Beastmaster dives in though, trying to go straight after Marcus. He does get him with the Tormentor Sword. And Marcus looks like he's taking his aimed shot at the Sorceress. I'm not really sure, but the Beastmaster does get broken off there. A little bit of a rough day for him. And Ice Power is a little bit blobbed up right here with these Dread Spears and Witch Elves and stuff. If the Empire Force had a Burning Head, this would be just insane value right here, right now. But he does not. He doesn't have any area of effects damage spells, in fact, which, you know, some people might call that a mistake. Personally, I always like to have it as an option against Dark Elves, because they can go with these wide rush builds like this. You can see that the Dark Elf lines are stabilizing somewhat. Nicely done. Oh man, those Empire Knights just barely getting tagged a little bit there by the Witch Elves does lead them to getting enraged, unfortunately. They did have a nice little compromise to try and get back at those Dark Shards, but the Dark Shards are kind of set up now, firing into various pockets. Yeah, Outer Region definitely needs to get these Pistoliers up. Yeah, push up and around the side here and start to pressure these Dark Shards, because they're doing a number on these Knights right now, who are very important for finishing off, like, the Witch Elves and the Corsairs in particular. The cannons still being completely safe, though, is really nice. They can continue to generate pressure, and it looks like the Beastmaster is coming back. Cannons are going to go, and there's the Power Spike for Murderous Prowess kicking off all across the field. It'll give a nice damage, I guess not damage, but missile damage, in fact, melee attack, leadership, all of the things. Just a nice kind of power increase all across the board. The Empire Knights, though, are holding okay here. They're not taking too much damage. They are kind of stuck up on some spears right now, which is not great, but the Pistoliers getting countercharged by the Dark Riders is a little bit rough, but you need to keep those crossbowmen bogged down as much as you can, and it looks like that's it for the Beastmaster. He's probably going to get shattered here. No, actually. Outer Region switches targets. Going instead after these Dark Shards. Probably a pretty good idea, but the Witch Elves here actually proven to be pretty key. Let's see, how many kills do they have? I'm just curious. Only 59 kills, but a couple of really nice enrages. Anti-infantry damage has been able to cut through the Empire troops pretty efficiently. No terror now on either side, I guess, with the Beastmaster being gone. And he is actually coming back with 88 HP. I can't imagine he'll stick around too long, but Marcus getting a little bit of a net in here. The Witch Hunter and Marcus both have a lot of ammunition still, so if they can kite, that will be decent, but keep in mind, these Corsairs, 40 speed, Witch Elves, 44 speed, are faster than both of these guys at 34 and 36, so they can get caught by the Witch Elves eventually. It just is a matter of time. If they can break them off with the range shots, obviously, first. You know, the militia tier units, the sad spear, yeah, let's just call them sad spears. They're not fast enough. They're, you know, standard infantry speed, but the faster ones definitely could be a problem here. Right now, the balance power is looking pretty well in Empire's favor, but a lot of that is because of the cannons, though, and you can see that things are starting to pull back a little bit of a false inflation of the balance power there. But, oh man, Witch Hunters actually might charge in melee here. That's dangerous. Definitely want to try and kite with him as much as possible. I get trying to bail out the cannon, but I would honestly say leave the cannon for now and just try and use up as much of the ammo as you can. But yeah, I think the Dark Elves are in a pretty good position to try and clean this one up if they can basically weather the last of the fire of the heroes here and then defeat them in melee, which is definitely easier said than done. There are still some Pistoliers here as well, chasing off some Dark Riders, operating out in the periphery. And I can't believe this Beastmaster is just chilling here. Apparently, he has 11 leadership, so he's okay. Chill there with less than 100 HP and just kind of hang out in the trees and, I don't know, talk to birds or whatever Beastmasters do in that situation. Some Knights coming back in and around, though. Looks like he actually pulls the cannon crew off. That's a good play there. Then the Huntsman kind of firing in. The Amethyst Wizard gets a little bit of a charge over here. It looks like the Hammer of Witches crew will probably be able to survive this push, as some nice splash attacks from the Empire Hero Squad. And the Spears kind of push him away. Hammer of Witches immediately gets back online, is going to start shelling those Dark Shards. So it's definitely still anyone's game. Man, it's a really good game to start. Yeah, cheap cav. I would really like Glade Riders with spears. That's like one of the main things I would like to see in the... Like, there's not a lot of things, really, that I want. That I can specifically think of, I guess. Just whatever they give us, for the most part, is cool. But Glade Riders with spears, please, definitely. Some kind of cheap cav. Be amazing. Or how about Order Doggos? We need some good boys. Not that the Chaos Boys aren't good boys, but, I mean, they are Chaos Boys, right? Like, we need some Order good boys. I guess Hounds of Ulrich at some point, hopefully, for the Empire, but Ulrich's Wolves. Marcus and his spears making a nice little center push here. The spears are protecting Marcus and the Witch Hunter, so they can try and use up the rest of their ranged ammunition. These Pistoliers are completely out of ammo, so they're just going to have to try and, I guess, just charge these Dread Spears, like disrupt and keep the cannon safe for as long as possible. Dark Riders with shields as well. The shields are so nice. It is an upgrade that I think is absolutely well worth it. Extra melee defense, and the missile block in particular is going to come in massive here. They're going to make contact with these Huntsmen, be able to break them off with their nice charge bonus. Yep, those Huntsmen are out of there. I don't know. It's going to be close. These Witch Elves might be the problem, to be honest. If these Witch Elves get on these heroes and start tearing them to shreds, which they can, and more importantly, start enraging them as well. Yeah, this is great. Oh, man. Ice Power is going to be able to pick this mage here. He goes enraged and instantly routs. And now the Witch Elves, again, the speed of the Witch Elves is such that they can catch up. Marcus is also starting to eat some crossbows to the face, and I think Ice Power's got this one in the wraps. Bounce Power finally tilting in his favor. What a great game to start, man. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, not that I like Dark Elves beating my Empire, but it is what it is. A beautiful game. Yeah, there's some weird stuff, like, someone was telling me about Zotes, which are like good guy, they're not Dragon Ogres, but they kind of look like Dragon Ogres in a way, but they're like Order Dragon Ogres, kind of. They, like, are friendly, like, lizard thing, forest spirits, so maybe they'll get those, I don't know. I don't really know what else in terms of other units, though. Oof. Sisters of Slaughter, yeah, I like them quite a bit too. I think they're decent in this matchup. They're just kind of vulnerable to Empire Knights, which is, it's such a cost-inefficient trade if they get charged by them. That being said, if you, what was I gonna say? If the Sisters of Slaughter don't get charged, then they can, like, get a counter charge because they're poisoned and their fast speed. They actually can kind of keep up with the slower Empire cavalry, okay. Oh, this is going to be a nice little charge here on this Witch Hunter. Probably take some damage once he stands up. Oh, looks like they're cycling. Now, these Witch Elves honestly could probably get it done by themselves. I mean, I guess he's keeping them back because he doesn't want them to take too much damage from the ranged attacks, but it is what it is. Ooh, nice net. Save on the charge there, and then the Witch Hunter actually countercharges. Oh yeah, hero of the Empire here. He didn't even do an animation though. Come on. I don't know about that, Witch Hunter. It is a valiant attempt. We got some more Dark Riders coming through though. How about these Dark Riders though? 41 kills, 116 kills right there. That's really good use of Dark Riders. Ice Power's been on point with chasing units off. Oh yeah, here it comes. Here comes the Witch Elves. Marcus running in. And now it's all over, because these guys cannot escape from the Witch Elves. And they will get enraged. And the anti-infantry, like high weapon damage of the Witch Elves, obviously, will do a lot of damage. Neither of these guys have too much armor. 30 armor on the Witch Hunter, and I believe Marcus is at 50. So, yep. Great game, though. Absolutely great game. An invincible squirrel the size of a Dreadsaurian. Ah, yes. Yes. Hey, what's up, Bob Tresh? How's it going? Oh God, that screech. That witch screech right there. That is amazing. And that's it. Marcus is going to throw in the towel there. Great game. Wow. Super, super good game. Interesting builds on both sides. I would say for Outer Region, not having Terror is a little bit weak. Like, you could even just find a way to bring Aspect of Dread Knight with that Deathcaster, and that would make this build that much stronger. Being able to throw that out on your Empire Knights, especially when they get a good charge and do a lot of shock damage, is the best time. But yeah, not having Terror is the only kind of criticism I have of that build. Other than that, it's a pretty interesting one, and I definitely see what he was going for there. Almost worked. Ice Power had a pretty good counter build, though, like this sort of wide build. He did get his one kind of high-value piece sniped, but Outer Region ended up dedicating a lot of resources to that snipe. And, you know, the Witch Hunter and Marcus still got a lot of kills otherwise, but it just wasn't quite enough at the end of the day. The Huntsman, too. Nice play with the Empire Knights and the Pistoliers, though. Cannons racking up quite a few kills as well. But Dark Riders, man, excellent performance from Dark Riders. I'm a huge fan of this unit. You guys should know by now. You'll see them in my Dark Elf replays all the time. As cheap, nice charge bonus, light cavalry, really useful in a number of situations. And the shields there proved pretty decisive. Lots of kills. 102 kills for the Witch Elves also. Great game. Great game. Yeah, 103 kills on Marcus. He was feeling it. Alright, let's see who's up next. Go ahead and get Malverde in here. I'll PM you the password. Great game. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, Malverde's in. Let's go ahead and get the map switched over. We'll do Eshin for the next map. Dark Shards meta yet? No. No, because Volkmar exists. Like, I will say Ice Power... Other than the Beastmaster, like, you don't have anything to kill Volkmar. Yeah, that, like, besides hopefully getting him enraged and shooting him, but the thing about, like, the Dark Riders aren't going to be able to hold back Volkmar, because he can, one Soulfire he drops and they're dead and terrified, and then he has enough mass to just roll over all of your infantry and then roll over all of your crossbowmen. So, like, from my perspective, like, if like, thinking about what I would take against that build, like, Volkmar Cav Rush seems like it would crush that build pretty hard, but I don't know, maybe you have some experience playing against that. Hey, what's up, Falcon? Oh yeah, of course, man. Of course. My pleasure. Sigvald Gotrek. Yeah, I'm sad you guys didn't rate Gotrek and Felix in your Legendary Lords video. I know they're not lords, but you could compare them. Like, Gotrek, honestly, is probably better than Ungrim in some ways, considering he has self-healing. Oh, yeah. No one takes Volkmar Cavrush versus Dark Elves? I guess it's just me, then. I guess it's just me. Halberd Box? Yeah, the Halberd Box is okay, but Volkmar can cycle charge them to death. I mean, that's not hard. Again, unless there's anything to keep him pinned in place, which Witch Elves can, but they will also... They die, like, hard to Volkmar, like, harder... It's interesting, like, the Witch Elves, Sisters of Slaughter, Doomfire Warlocks, like, Dark Elves specifically have quite a few high-value units that die so hard to Volkmar. Like, they are literally hard countered by him. So, yeah, But for me, at least, thinking about that matchup, like I almost always want to take Volkmar in that matchup, just because he counters like several important units there, right? And then as far as like keeping him out of trouble, he can buff like Demigryph Knights or whatever other cavalry support he has to keep himself mobile and not bogged down. And that's the way I approach that matchup, and I've had a lot of success with it. But I'd be interested to see you can take. Wood Elf Chariots? You know what? You say that, Zoro? I would love a Reindeer Chariot. I think that would be so cool, and it would actually be really good, because Wood Elves would be really good with a Chariot. Could you imagine Orion's Horn of the Wild Hunt with like 3 Chariot units against the Dwarfs? Oh man, that would be good. And probably the Stag Chariots would be super fast, too. Witch Elves also exist. Yes, Witch Elves also exist. That is true. Yep. Yeah. It's an interesting matchup. It's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors matchup in many ways, but like as an Empire main, from my perspective, like Volkmar is a mainstay. He's basically like, you gotta have him in that matchup. And then beyond that, like there are a lot of good tools there. Obviously, Pistoliers, the high DPS against, again, low armor targets, and then especially if you have something to debuff the few like high armor targets you might see. It's like realistically, you're not going to see more than like 3 units probably that have high armor, 3, 4 max units that have high armor. Maybe more if you include Lords, but yeah, no, seriously, back to the Wood Elf Chariots though. Like CA, if anyone from CA is watching, can we make this happen? Like it shouldn't be that hard to do. What non-single entity would I want for the Beastmen? Well, it'd be cool to get the god-themed gores, like the Sangors, the Corn Gores, whatever, and so on. That would be cool. That for me though would make a lot more sense for a Game 3 update for the Beastmen. So I don't know if that's what's coming. More units, I don't know. Like, I don't really know. You know, would actually be pretty cool. Not that Beastmen need more armor piercing. It's not a unit that you'd probably take super often, but like Gores with great weapons would be kind of cool. Or Tuskor Chariots. Actually, there's one. Yeah, the Tuskor Chariot's like a lighter, lower tier chariot for the Beastmen. Right now, Beastmen, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Razorgore Chariot's super strong. It's a really good unit, but you only have that option, and then your single entity chariots. So actually, Tuskor Chariot, as a proper Sirtha Ek disciple myself, I'm going to say Tuskor Chariot for sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, that is an issue for Dark Elves. You don't have... Or, sorry, Wood Elves, you don't have any chaff units. It would be cool if they got some way to summon Treekin, because that would, like, in tabletop, they have an ability, if I remember right, where before battle, you could, like, place, like, on the tabletop, you could actually, like, place a piece of woods, like a terrain piece of trees, like, wherever you wanted, and then it would have gameplay interactions with you, right? That's kind of hard to do in the Total War engine. Like, I don't know if that's something that they actually can do. Maybe. It would be super hard to program, I would imagine, though. Much easier would just be to give them, like, an army ability. Maybe like the Tomb Kings, except instead of an Ushabti summon, you get, like, 2 Treekin summons, because Treekins are much worse, like, in terms of offensive power. Great for blocking stuff. They're literally just like a terrain piece that you can take in your army and moves around slowly. But... okay, Kirohas. Yeah, because I know that Zangors have been the thing for a while, but... yeah, it's hard to say whether they'll be in the... like, if there's a Tzeentch faction, right? If there's a Demons of Tzeentch, or just like a general Tzeentch faction that includes both warriors and demons, like for Tzeentch specifically, Probably the Sangors will be on that roster, but I don't know. They might add them to the Beastmen as well. A lot of people want them to. A decent spear unit? Take that back, Arja. I love Ungor's Spearman Herd. I think they're actually probably the best low-tier spears in the game, so you take that back, sir. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I do kind of know what you mean. They don't have like a mid-tier spear, like a mid-tier anti-large unit. Like, you really don't have anything besides a low-tier spear, right? So maybe like a Gores with glaives. You know, like because how the Koroks Man-Rippers have glaives, right? And they're a halberd unit. If you gave Gores with glaives, they could be like an anti-large. You still probably wouldn't want to give them charge defense, because that's just not very Beastman-y. I think they have all their fancy ammo types, if I remember right. Anyway, let's have a look at these builds here. We've got Skarsnik leading the way for the Green Tide. Actually, haven't seen Skarsnik in a bit. He's still probably the best lord for greenskins, maybe. Hard to say. Yeah, we've also got Giant River Troll Hag, Stone Trolls, 2 Doom Divers. Love that in this matchup. Got some Orc Boys, 8 Peak Loons out on the flanks. Some more Fanatics over here, I would imagine. Nope, actually just more boys. Spider Rider Archers, Mangy Marauders, a couple of Boar Boys in the back. Regular old Boar Boys. Quite a bit better than they used to be. Best spears are obviously Saurus spears. Jab throwing Gores? Ooh, I like the idea of jab throwing Gores. I like that idea, actually. Like bows, you already have Ungors. Ungors are actually, again, probably one of the best low-tier skirmish units in the game because of the stock and high model count and Primal Fury. Anyway, Dark Elf build, we should probably talk about this as well. We've got some Scourge Runner Chariots. Looks like a Reaper Bolt Thrower, Blades of the Blood Queen are a pretty solid pick in this matchup. I'm not the biggest fan of the Blackguard, though. We do have a couple of Witch Elves and some Dread Spears. Probably a Supreme Sorceress, Lord of, beasts. So, Manticore Lady to summon more Manticores, because that's how it works. Huntsman General Gaston! Yeah, I actually would like, that. I think that'd be cool. I don't know if that's lore appropriate as well for Gores. Probably not, because probably missile weapons are seen as cowardly by the Beastmen. Except then, you know, you have the Cygor, but whatever. Let's not talk about that. Better artillery for Dawi. What? What? They have the best artillery in the game. What are you talking about? The flame cannon's actually really good now against, especially like greenskins. Very good. Yeah, they have the best cannons. The bolt throwers are very cost effective at 550. I'm a fan of grudge throwers as well. Grudge throwers actually, out of all the artillery pieces, are maybe a little overpriced if you compare them to other catapult pieces. Like I have a video I've recorded. It's coming out sometime this week, within the next couple days, about rock lobbers, goblin rock lobbers, and I kind of made some comparisons at the end between a bunch of the catapult artillery, and I came to the conclusion during that actually grudge throwers are a little bit overpriced, but other than that, I think like Oregon Gun is a little bit tough to use in certain multiplayer matchups, but in campaign, it's super, super strong. Would you tell a Cygor it can't throw rocks? You have a great point, sir. You have a great point. Here, though, it looks like the Beastmaster, Supreme Sorceress, rather, was trying to get in to help support against this engagement. The Spider Riders have been trading with Scourge Runners, which is probably a good trade for greenskins. This engagement's going to get underway, though. I guess it does make sense, now that I think about it, to take the Blackguard against... Since Stone Trolls are so common in every matchup now, like, you need halberds when you're facing greenskins, which you didn't often before. So they wouldn't really... I mean, besides a Spider, you wouldn't really take units that you could counter with halberds. And to be honest, like... Spider can just run away from halberds anyway. I guess trolls can too, but monstrous infantry in general, like if halberds counter one thing, halberds don't counter single entity monsters. Halberds counter monstrous infantry, and cavalry as well, of course. But more than anything, I would say halberds hard counter monstrous infantry. So you can see here that the Blackguard are moving in to try and deal with these Stone Trolls here. The Stone Trolls are also mixed up in a bunch of Spears and Witch Elves, so this is really not a great engagement for them. They're going to tank pretty well, though, right now, while the Orc Boys are holding. But once those Orc Boys are gone... Oh, yeah, Manticore drops down, too, on Scarsnake. Scarsnake will be able to weather that just fine. But it does pull the Fungi? Nope. That's just the Enrage. Meanwhile, Spider Riders are trying to push out and get back and get at that Reaper Bolt Thrower, but I think the Scourge Runners might break them. Again, though, just trading with the Scourge Runners there is kind of okay, to be honest. This infantry engagement I'm a little worried about. The Greenskins got a really nice timing push, but I think, actually, Ice Power's build here, especially because Blades of the Blood Queen are getting into combat just barely now. And I also have I haven't recorded it yet, but I need to. I'm planning a video about the Blades of the Blood Queen as well for my unit highlight series, because they are awesome. They're a super, super cool and good unit. Love their color scheme too. But yeah, the Dark Elf Rush push is actually coming pretty hard here, and it's not an often, you know, kind of not often that you would see Dark Elves rushing into sort of a defensive Greenskins. But that's just the world that we're in. Witch Elves get the Fermented Fungi to drop their melee defense, and you see how much faster they start getting cut down by even just like Orc Boys. Pretty impressive, but Ice Power's got a pretty good lead on this already, especially the Trolls being stacked on top of these Blackguard here is not great. I mean, really, the best target for the Trolls was going to be to try and get the Supreme Sorceress when she came to the ground, and I'd have just kept them back, basically, until the Blades of the Blood Queen present themselves, and then try and exclusively use them to charge the Blades of the Blood Queen and do damage to them. But, yeah, it was an interesting one. I'm a big fan of Doom Divers here. I think I'm not a fan of Orc Boys, though. It's hard to micro, but the Fanatics are just so good against Dark Elves and other... at basically everyone, in my opinion. But if you have the micro, it's much, much better. Yep. Engineer Lord on a Gyro Bomber. You're speaking my language, Zoro. You're speaking my language. Yep. And it looks like that'll be the finishing touches. We'll zoom in on the 8 Peakaloons. They fight with the Hag here. Gotta just check something real quick. Doom Divers are slightly overpriced. Yeah. Yeah, Doom Divers... The thing about Doom Divers is, they're kind of specialist, right? Like, there's no other artillery that's as accurate shooting at air units, right? Like, and I think they pay a little bit extra for that. Like, if you compare them to other... I guess there's not really a good comparison artillery, though, because they're kind of like they're kind of like a direct fire line, the direct line of fire artillery in some ways, in kind of the way that their missiles impact. They do a lot less damage than something like a cannon, but the homing, you do pay for the homing, which against air units specifically, I think is worth it. This is one matchup where since Malekith, Marathi, Beastmaster, Supreme Sorceress, all on flying mounts, super common here. I like one at least, but I think, yeah, I don't know. Rest of this build, I think there were some issues, perhaps. Yeah, it is RNG dependent. They can miss quite a bit, which sucks, but yeah, I like the build from Malverde. He actually didn't have a caster, I didn't even notice, but oh no, he did. It's just down here, duh. I was like casting the caster. Anyway, yeah, Blades of the Blood Queen getting in here unopposed was massive. Definitely the Trolls should have been kept in reserve to just charge the Blades of the Blood Queen only, since there wasn't really a lot of other good targets for them. And yeah, other than that, I would say just going a little bit wider here on infantry to give some more numbers, or else giving some more quality. Like, you could maybe cut one of these Boar Boys and get some Fanatics going in here, maybe get some, even like Biggins or something, just something that with a little bit more DPS and or staying power. And yeah, again, no terror as well for the Greenskins, which I think is a mistake. Yeah, exactly. One cannonball is two Doom Diver Gavos. Yeah, the homing is insane, and Doom Divers can also fire up and over a slope, right? So there are some advantages of a Doom Diver, but you do pay for it, yeah. It's kind of a specialist artillery in a way, in my opinion. Got a nice close-up Fanatics through the Bleak Swords. Oh, man. Awesome. Beautiful. Let me also boot up Streamlabs in case. I always forget to have this extra dashboard open. And next competitor on the list, Patty Wampus. Let's get that. Alright, get another map lined up here. Let's go for probably my favorite map right now, MP Harriel Ridge or Heorot. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and I think actually the Witch Elf Blackguard combo, because Stone Trolls are so common right now, I think that's pretty good. I mean, that build would probably die to Black Orcs. Like, 3 Black Orcs would probably kill... I mean, I guess you do have Blades of the Blood Queen to try and fight Black Orcs, which they definitely can. They're one of the few Great Weapon Infantry that can, like, lawnmower them in the right situation. But if the Black Orcs, especially if they get a good engagement and they have buffs, it can be dicey. Yeah. Cool, Ice Power sticking Dark Elf, no bans. Yeah, a second troll or a chariot or two, yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. No terror as well is not the biggest issue against Dark Elves, but it is an issue against any non-undead faction, basically. So you could have... The second troll, actually, if you would have taken the Swamp Things, they cause terror, so that would have been a way to get some... They also have the melee attack debuff aura, which if you switch out the Death Hag, like let's say for Azag, instead of Skarsnik, gives you another mobile response tool, and since you have the Doom Divers, you're not really too worried about... I mean, Dark Elves usually don't spam air in that matchup, but... I don't mind the Orc Boys. If they get a good charge, they can do well. It's just there's not a ton of units that are really great engagements for them in that matchup, because you don't see a lot of low tier armor units, which is kind of low to mid tier armor units, which is what the Boar Boys trade well into. So yeah, I would say if you were to allocate the funds from the Boar Boys, I mean, probably cut... I might keep 2, and you cut 1, and then maybe bring some more Fanatics. Yeah, it's hard, though. It's, getting the Fanatics casts at the right time, in the right place, does take a lot of micro. You pay for that, in a way. Yeah. Ooh, looks like we're gonna see some Wood Elves versus Dark Elves. Be a grand old time. Okay, just a second. Yeah, more anti-infantry. Exactly. Exactly, yep. Cool, cool. Yeah, just waiting on these guys to get their builds locked in. This matchup basically is like, can you protect... Well, this is most matchups, to be honest, for Wood Elves. It's like, can you protect your Way Watchers or no? Yes, if you can, you'll probably win. If you can't, then... oh well. Oh, they're ready. Okay. Yeah, Dark Elves do have a lot of unfavorable matchups. They're a very strong faction, but they still... they have your typical elf weaknesses. And because of their short mid-range, like the fact that the crossbows have short range in comparison to bows or guns, like that itself leads to some extra issues on top of being elves, right? So although you might have a more kind of overall, I guess not well-balanced, tiles are really more well-balanced, to be honest, but I mean, you still have a pretty well-balanced army. It's just, yeah, it's a weird situation. I still need to wait some time before I figure out my tier list, but Dark Elves might not be that high this time around. Let's take a look here. We'll start with the Dark Elves this time. Let's see, we've got Malekith leading the way on his dragon, Feral Manticore, a bunch of Sad Swords and Fierce Spears. We've got Slaanesh Harvesters, along with some Cav, a few Dark Riders with shields, Harpies, Karens of Cain. And that's it, pretty straightforward. Speaking of straightforward, oh man, this is a very straightforward build from Patty Wampus. Straight up the pipe here. Wardens of Kithral up front with some Dryads. He's got some Waystalkers. I'm surprised not to see Orion here with this build. Did he actually bring a caster? I don't think he actually brought a caster. Okay. MLG plays right here. See how this goes. Yeah, no... oh no, he does have a Branch Wraith up here. Okay, I was going to say, there's no way he didn't bring a caster with this build. He does indeed have a Branch Wraith up front. This should be interesting. I'm a little curious to see how this giant mobile force is going to try and compromise these two Way Watchers. And as I said, it's, you know, can you protect your Way Watchers? That's the matchup. Yeah, I don't know. The poison missiles change was a big one for a lot of factions, and it kind of made any factions without poison missiles like automatically go down a little bit in comparison. Like Empire, for example, you don't have any poison missiles, so that's, you know, not great for the Empire. Bersonia you do, but also like Wood Elves, besides Shadow Walkers, right? Like you don't have any missiles with poison, whereas with Lizardmen, literally everything has poison missiles. So. Oh, oop, alright. Got a nice AI attack order here, and it looks like the Dryads are rushing in. I don't know how the AI attack order will do, but... oh man, these Way Watchers probably immediately going to open up on the Slaanesh Harvesters. Yep, see a couple volleys there. Nice Arrows of Kronos as well. Rex, ooh yeah, should have gone after the Slaanesh Harvesters instead, but it does wreck those Dark Riders. You can see already frontline pulling back. Branch Wraith, he has a Penumbral Pendulum. That's going to be super important here to win this frontline engagement. Otherwise, these Dryads are just going to kind of die. But Wild Hunters, oh man, yeah, I said, can he protect the Way Watchers? And spoiler, I don't think he can. Nice Word of Pain though on the Wild Hunters, and then the Cairns of Cain kind of come down and charge them. That's pretty bad for them, especially if the Celestious Harvesters get back in there, start to compromise. But I've got a net up there in the front. It really is Bretonnia. Are people having problems with Bretonian multiplayer right now? Really? Really? That's interesting. Is this like a renaissance of Bretonia that I've been missing somehow? But anyway, Cairns of Cain doing a great job here. There's the Penumbral Pendulum. Would have liked to have seen that a little bit earlier, but better late than never, I suppose. Will pop off the Murderous Prowess, though, the kills from that, and so these Dark Elf units will be getting a nice little damage spike here. The Way Watchers are surviving surprisingly well, despite all of the resources being allocated to take them out, but yeah, this is pretty inefficient here from the Wild Hunters, just having to sit there and fight the Cairns of Cain for a while. Likewise, if this healer gets taken offline, that's not going to be great. This poor little branch bro wants to get the heck out of dodge. Yeah, the Dryad front line, it's just so risky, man, to rush in like that without enough support. And the Wood Elves, you really can't bring enough unit models. Like, that type of a build would be so much less risky if you had Glade Riders, right? Like, if you could literally like split this Wild Hunters of Kurnos into 3 Glade Riders with spears, that would just be so much better. And like these guys too, like just have them have spears instead. Go for an all melee rush build, and then I'd probably take Orion also. Orion actually, like besides Malekith and the Manticore together, like there's really nothing here that can kill Orion. Beastmen update? Oh yeah, I mean every update shakes up the power level. Every update shakes up the power level. So yeah, I would expect that a Beastmen update would make a pretty big difference. Not only for the Beastmen, but like it will change other matchups, and generally there are other balance changes and things that come with it, like the Woodsman change, for example, and the Poison Missiles change. Those are just a couple examples of like giant things that happened with updates that affected a lot more factions than just, you know, what was being featured in the DLC. For Orion to have a deer mount, yeah, if the Great Stag was the thing, maybe he could ride one, you know? Bretonian flying units are the best in the game. Generally, yes, that is true. Although they can get beat in the air by a few factions because of some magic differences. Yeah, I think people are pretty aware of Skarsnik now because of Fungi. Like before, he was kind of a stealth pick in certain matchups. Orion too, I think. Like if your opponent doesn't have the tools for dealing with Orion, like it's just almost impossible to kill him. That in and of itself can be enough to win games sometimes. Elven Cav are making their stand here, trying to finish off the Celestious Harvesters, but yeah, that's going to be army losses. It was a GG. Didn't quite have enough to deal with Malekith, and of course, Orion being anti-large armor piercing can fight Malekith reasonably well. He has a Forest Dragon mount in the lore. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, Peasant Archers are so good. They might be, like, underneath Ungor Raiders, they're probably my second favorite low-tier skirmish unit. Okay, let's have a look here. Get the next... Next one. Oh, I missed a couple of membership things. Okay, interesting. I wonder why they didn't pop up on here. Okay, never mind. Anyway, next one. We've got OBV. Cool, let me add him on Steam here. Music going in the meantime. Alright, that's sent there. We'll be joining here shortly. Yeah, that was a good game. Yeah, it was a good game, Patty. It almost worked, and basically we were talking about the Wood Elves update, like kind of in relation to your build. It would have been, if the Wood Elves had Glade Riders with spears, that would be perfect, because you could swap the Wild Hunters out. Like, for me personally, I would rather you have, like, and I'm curious to hear your opinion, rather have 3, like, cheaper shock cavalry to be able to spread, kind of counter the various threats, rather than only having the one that's kind of concentrated to the one area. Like, for me at least, like, that build would have been so much stronger with just Glade Riders with spears, but... There we go. Yeah, Dark Rider equivalent, exactly. Like, Blade Riders with spears would be perfect for that. Okay, let's see. Get the next map locked in. Let's go for Prague. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Given that they're going to do something for the Wood Elves, and I would imagine they'll do something for the Beastmen as well, I'd expect that Tomb Kings and Coast might get something in Game 3. Like if they do a big Undead update at some point with a big bad Nagash DLC. Just saying. Fewer Dawi matchups than more. I'm down with that. Absolutely. Yeah, Skaven, out of all the Game 3 factions, Skaven actually are missing the most from their tabletop roster, which seems weird because they're a very complete faction in general. I haven't really been keeping score here today either, but it is what it is. As these guys are picking their armies, I'm gonna go grab a drink of water. I'll be right back. Hang tight, guys. And I'm back. Yeah, I could see six lords by the end of game 3 for each faction, like as a minimum. I think would be good. They could do however much they want, though, to be honest, right? Like, there's so much lore, so many different stories and characters they can bring in. Can't go wrong with Med 2 soundtrack. That's for sure. That is for sure. All the old Total War soundtracks, and just, I'm gonna say this, all the Total War soundtracks are great. They're all top tier. For sure, top tier. Absolutely. I'm sure they could figure out some. There are more characters from that Dreadfleet supplement, right? The Dreadfleet, rather. The Dreadfleet supplement, where they took. Like, that's where Noctilus is from, right? And I'm sure there are other characters in there. Like, RNS, I think, is in there as well. I'm sure there are other characters that they could bring in. Or just make some up, like Silostra. Well, yeah, what about Norska? Norska needs more than 2 lords and 1 generic. But let's have a look at the builds here. We'll start with the Undead Pirates. Handguns with chevrons. Interesting. That's potentially risky, but interesting. We've got a bunch of hounds. Harkon up in the air. Mobs with various weapons. Some mortars. Good build against the Dark Elves. Kind of surprised not to see Queen Bess. But it's kind of a meme pick, to be honest. Although on this map, you can park Queen Bess, like, up here on the top. And if you park her kind of behind this little thing right here, like, the bolt throwers are going to have a harder time making contact with her, which is something. But as for the Dark Elves, we've got some sad swords, fierce spears, 3 bolt throwers, corsairs up front, some shield shards, Supreme Sorceress, Lore of Fire on horseback, and some Dark Riders. Personally, I like Shades a little bit better here. They can fight hounds better. They have stocks. They're not going to get lit up by mortars on the approach quite as much. And they do have a little bit longer range as well. I mean, obviously, they'll lack missile block chance. They have some physical resistance, though, to make up for it. And again, that stock is super important against artillery. I like the Lizardmen one. For me, the Lizardmen and Dark Elf ones, like, the Dark Elf one is just, it's like a remix of the original theme, right? Which I kind of like. Like, it's, I think it fits the theme of the faction very well. And same thing with the Lizardmen. Like, it fits the atmosphere. Even if I don't necessarily love the track itself, although I do think both those tracks are pretty good. Like, it fits the atmosphere of the faction. The Greenskins one, same thing, like Skaven. I'm a little sad that, like, Empire, Bretonnia, High Elves all share. And Dwarfs, actually. All 4 of the Order factions from Game 1 share. And, like, Beastmen, Chaos, and Norska all share the Chaos theme, right? That's a little sad, but... yeah. Doom Kings has the least number of lords and the thinnest roster. Yeah, they could do with some more stuff. And I do think in Game 3 that we'll see, like, this is me wishful thinking, but it also makes a lot of sense from Creative Assembly's standpoint to do some DLCs regarding Nagash, like the Big Bad, since he's a big part of the End Times, right? And that will also give them an opportunity to update a bunch of the undead factions, like maybe add, like, Neferata, you know, some of the other characters for the vampire counts, and even for Tomb Kings as well. I mean, we've already got what's his face? Arkan, Dweeb. Ooh, that guy got hit directly by the mortar. That is very unlucky. The odds of that actually happening to you were pretty low, to be honest. Like, getting hit directly by the mortar. Oh, that little bit of an unfortunate fireball there. Did not detonate that model, unfortunately. But the unit's going to be sent into crumbling soon. Oh, nice burning head, too. The zombies are going to be too slow to move out of the way. That's going to absolutely wreck down this line. Just cleans the black spot here. And the rest of these handguns all standing in a beautiful line formation. Napoleonic style. But, yeah, man, that was a huge amount of value, especially given the chevrons that had been put into those guns. Now, as well, the mortars are starting to go down from the kind of focus fire and the cannonballs and so on, but man, that was nasty. It was nasty. Of course, as long as you have Luther Harkon, you still have an opportunity to win this, but looks like the Hounds, oh man, oh no, kind of went into a little bit of a column formation. They're going to get caught up somewhat by the Dark Riders over here as well. The Dark Riders, yeah, sending the Hounds in 1v1, I don't know is best, although he is able to kind of catch up both units there with one and swing this other one up and around and start going after those bolt throwers, but I might have waited a little bit on that engagement. We'll see. Kind of see how it goes. The Witch Elves have taken a pretty good amount of damage, as have the Corsairs from the mortars, so that's nice. And the nicely done with the Supreme Sorceress too. She's able to interrupt the Scurvy Dogs here. And Ice Power just playing this one beautifully. Yeah, is there no caster as well for Ghost? I'm wondering. Dark Riders coming in. Dark Riders versus like Wolf and Hound units is an interesting one, because Dark Riders are pretty squishy, but the shields do give them good stats, and especially with Murderous Prowess active, if we have a look at their stat card, 31 and 29 with 50 charge bonus actually. It's really nice. I forgot that extra actually gives charge bonus as well. So yeah. Because of the charge component, I mean, if you think about this, they're hitting for 76 weapon strength on the charge, right? And they're hitting for 81 melee attack on the charge. So, given all of that, of course, the shields with the extra melee defense, man, Dark Riders with shields, I really need to do a core unit video about them, because they are essential for Dark Elves. Yeah, Icy Power putting on a Dark Elves clinic today. For you Druchii fans out there. He is putting on a show for you guys. Even Harkon's feeling it. And it's actually hard to do damage to Harkon, to be honest. But bolt throwers being able to sit back and focus fire the whole time is great. And the Witch Elves also just kind of sitting and chilling back. In case something gets back there, I don't know. But or just staying away from the mortars, maybe? Oh, look at this. Another beautifully placed Burning Head here. Burning Head's so good against Vampire Coast because, in general, wind spells, but especially Burning Head, because the leadership damage will help guarantee crumbling, and because zombies are too slow to dodge. Like most wind spells, even ones with pretty long wind-up times, they can sometimes be too slow to dodge. That is a pretty big weakness of zombie guns. Look at that. Vampire Coast is down, and I can't say I am too sad about it. Sad to see OBV lose, obviously. Seems like a chill dude. Or dudette, I guess. To be honest, dude I use as net gender neutral. Anyway, but this is, yeah, great build from Ice Power and beautifully executed. 312 kills! 312 kills on the Supreme Sorceress Lord of Fire. Wow. Wow. You say no sirens, but I think the sirens would have got killed by the Burning Head too, probably. GG, man. That Supreme Sorceress just gained 2 levels on the campaign map. It would have been great here, but yeah, too heavy on the range. I definitely agree. The chevrons on the handguns is a mistake, definitely. You want to allocate those funds elsewhere, like taking a caster for one, and then yeah, like the pistols plus the handguns is way too much. You definitely want to cut these pistols for melee zombies, or even fell bats to help support that mobile engagement, and it's super critical to have Flora Vampires, obviously. So, alright, let's see, we've got a couple more here. I've got Tesla and then a couple potential reserves. So let's get him in here. Okay. Yeah, so let me get Gobbo Slayer on deck. Just in case. We'll have him after Tesla. Cool, cool. More mortars and bombers. Actually, yeah, trading some of the handguns out for bombers would have been a good idea, definitely. That's a good point. Oh, that burning head was glorious. Absolutely glorious. Yeah. Coast is... Yeah. Cool, cool. So let's go ahead and get the next map lined up. And we'll do... Let's do Storm Demon. That's kind of a neat one. Yeah, bombers, definitely. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Had to take care of something real quick. How long will the stream be? Well, we've got probably 2 more competitors, so maybe another, yeah, half hour to an hour, depending on how it goes. Whoops. Okay. Kislev. Yes, I'm super excited for Kislev. They're gonna be fun. I'm expecting them to be kind of not necessarily like Empire and Bretonnia. Like, I don't know if they'll even have any heavy cavalry besides like the Bear Cavalry. And even then, I don't know how like heavily armored the Bear Cavalry will actually be. Obviously, it'll be heavy mass, but I don't know. Like, they don't really have knights in Kislev, right? They rely more on, like, lancers, which are faster, but lighter. So it'll be interesting. The winged hussars, they're kind of like knights, I guess, but from what I understand, they're faster and not as heavily armored. Am I wrong about that? But I'm definitely expecting, like, more of a missile focus, maybe? Like, especially, like, light cavalry missiles and yeah, like an archer cav faction kinda in a way, but plus, you know, your regular cavalry. And then I know they've already showed off some different kind of icy themed units, right? Like, anyway, let's go ahead and have a look here. We've got Morgor leading the way for Tesla, Bratium, and Lore of Death. Some Gore herds, some pig herds, very nice. I have Morslib, Centigores, Ungor Raiders, and yeah, Ungor Spears. Pretty basic build, like it. For the Dark Elves, we've got a couple of Scourge Runner Chariots, Chill of Sontar leading, a couple Cold One Knights, Wrathy with 2 Manticores. So a very straightforward kind of monster build on this side. And I'm a little sad not to see the Beastmaster, because he's, you know, Beastmaster against Beastman, obviously. Yeah, Ice Magic I'm super excited for. Considering what they've done with, like, if you look at any of the new spell effects, like, any of them from the Vampire Coast, they're relatively new. They all look very, very flashy, right? Like all the new Van Geist's Revenge and the Fungi from the Greenskins update, and like just all the new spell effects that they've made visually have looked awesome, right? So I'm super excited to see what they do with new Lores of Magic anytime they announce that. Nice, solid hit on the Hellebroni there. Watch closely as the Dark Elves advance. Good old chilly boy. One issue, the Beastmen are going to lose visibility here on a lot of the Dark Elves army. They probably wanted to pat these guys up and around the side here to try and get some visibility, but it looks like they're able to at least see enough to throw. Yeah, Cold One Knights are actually probably the best target to throw at here because they're a low model count. You can clip, just get like one good solid shot and get like, I don't know, maybe 9 unit models. If possible, 6 to 9 unit models, that's going to be really strong. Now, that one there barely hits 1. Scourge Runners kiting back from, all these Centigores kiting back from the Scourge Runners. Honestly, though, the Scourge Runners are out here kind of unsupported. They could absolutely just charge in and wreck them right now. But it looks like Ice Power is kind of aware of this. He's going to be pulling back. No, actually pulling away. So, yeah, this is an opportunity here. Let's see if Tesla decides to capitalize, or if he's going to just kind of hang back. I mean, the Centigores are absolutely fast enough to catch up here. And especially with the AP damage of the Sons of Goros, like, you could work them over pretty good. Ooh, nice Frost Breath into the one kind of expensive-ish infantry unit here. That's pretty good. Looks like Tesla does grab them. They're kind of in a column formation, though, which means they're not going to chase very effectively. But yeah, you'd want to kind of like get them in a bit of a surround and try and especially lead with the regular Centaurs. Looks like instead he's going to pull back, just try and protect his backline for the time being. That's honestly probably a good idea. Zungor Raiders need to start opening up. Yep, on this Chill of Sontar. Have the mobile force kind of come back and help peel off some of these big terror-causing threats. Spirit Leech on one of the Manticores, and some nice Chariot Micro here as well. Manages to avoid that engagement, get a nice rear charge here on the Helibroni. Cycling back out with the Sons of Goros and the Boars there. Yeah, these Cold One Knights has just been getting wrecked by that Cygor, which is pretty nice. Cygor probably wants to pick another target, like this other unit of Cold One Knights. But Pigs, it looks like, are going to respond there and charge. Centaurs are going to be charging probably in the front line, I would imagine. Maybe try and swing over to this flank to bail it out. There are still some Ungor Spears holding here. Oh, nice. Instead, countercharging in the center. That's probably a pretty good play. And it looks like the Spawn Summon's also going to be pulled up here. So Tesla making a pretty good push to try and get Marathi and the two Manticores on a surround. And one of those Manticores is already just about routed off. Beautiful Soul Stealer, though. Oh, man, that just hits all of the important things. Yeah, Tesla's going to peel out of that Soul Stealer and try and preserve some of the damage. But he's already taken most of the damage there. And there's the other Spawn Summon, too, right? Nice on time. Can help push away some of these other units. It does look like the Chill and Marathi are still all stuck here, though. I mean, all four single entities being together is a good thing, definitely, but it does look like they're all kind of stuck up at the moment. I don't know if the Beastmen are really doing a whole lot of damage there, but I would get the Cygor and definitely walk over here and fight in melee in this blob. Like, if you can get a charge on one of these Manticores right here, those look like the Ungor Raiders are providing a little bit of supporting fire, and this Chariot Micro has been really on point from the Bray Shaman Lore of Death here. He's just been rocking back and forth, getting some great cycle charges. So Pigs are getting routed, but it's just about finished off of Manticore. Man, the Spawn Summons are almost gone, and Morgar is going to be in big trouble once the Spawn Summons run out. But Beastmen have a pretty good lead on the balance of power right now. Obviously, it's still anyone's game with Marathi being alive and the Chill of Sontar and everything. Balance of power for the Beastmen tends to be slightly inflated, like always. But I really like the Chariot Micro from the Bray Shaman there. Beautiful stuff. Morgar might be in trouble, though, and losing Morgar would be an absolute disaster here. You're going to run into huge terror issues with all these terror-causing units. Yeah, getting rid of... Did I say Malekith? It's Marathi, obviously. Getting rid of the Manticores, it's great. One of them's routed off, and the Chili Boy's also not feeling amazing. So we'll see. Marathi is trying to get into contact with Morgar. With the Chill, that's a good idea. Morgar actually will trade okay with Marathi one-on-one. It's kind of a weird one, but he has good enough weapon damage and poison, and she's an anti-large specialist, right? So it's not an amazing engagement. Still, though, because of the stat debuffs, like, she'll do all right, and it'll honestly come down to a lot of RNG. But at this point, a lot of the Dark Elf units are starting to shatter. Chill is chasing Morgar, and he's not going to be able to get away, which is absolutely an issue for him. But likewise, this Eye of Morsleep still completely healthy as well. It can fight in the late game very well against these Cygors. Still has a lot of HP. The Chill, though, also has a lot of healing cap space left, and you see how these Chariots are coming back now? They can start to help break up some of these Beastmen infantry. A lot of the high mass units for the Beastmen are starting to get pretty low, so... Oh, man, Morgar, oh, no! He's alive, barely. Nice Spirit Leech there on that Manticore. Ooh, I might have charged it as well. You can actually charge single entities with these Chariots. The Razorgore Chariots have really good animations. So, oh, Morgar just dies, though! Morgar dies to the Chill! Wow, it's not often you see Morgar legit get sniped in a game. But that is going to lead to massive leadership issues, and a beautiful Soul Stealer here, once again going to catch some of these high-value cav. It'll do a little bit of damage to the Cygor, which is not that big of an issue, but those two things have just stabilized the balance power. The Beastmen will get a lot of these troops back from route, hopefully. Yeah, it looks like a lot of them are starting to come back already, so as long as the Eye can sort of hold out long enough, but it's not looking great for the Beastmen at this point. That was a very decisive Soul Stealer right there. That's a great game, though. Not quite enough single entity stopping power there at the end of the day. And I almost wonder, again, if you wouldn't have fought with the Cygor a little bit more during that main melee engagement, things might have been different. But the Beastmen are still definitely not out of this. by any means. Got various units coming back. Cygor does terrify away the Scourge Runners before it goes down there, but then it does go down, so I don't know. Don't think it's gonna be good for the Beastmen. Yeah, Marathi's coming after the Beast Caster now. The Manticore is as well, just in a rage, and immediately gets a hit and terrifies, and that's probably army losses. Yep. GG. GG. That was a good one. Whoops. Connection to Steam was lost. Okay. We'll wait for Steam to come back then. Go ahead and message Gobbo Slayer. Yeah, we gotta wait for Steam to come back, which is unfortunate, but Jill of Sontar. Yeah. That was a good one. That was a really good one. Really nice play on both sides. That Beastcaster, man, that Bray Shaman Lore of Death was going all wild on your infantry. That was really good, actually. Yes. Yep, the lobby died for everyone. That's correct. Yep. Was a showing of the gods, indeed, yeah. Cheap AP infantry? I don't think you do, though, really, because you have so much AP from other sources. I really don't feel like you do need cheap AP infantry. That's just me. Like, maybe Gore Herds with great weapons or Ungors with great weapons would be okay. Come on, Steam. Well, this might actually be the stream. If Steam server is not going to come back online. That was my main list. I was just getting now onto the reserves, but it took the Steam going down to end your dynasty. That's the world uniting against you right there. It's not that, then I don't know what it is. Minotaurs died arranged. Not the ones with shields, not nearly as badly. Like, yeah, they still kind of do, but 55% missile block chance on a monstrous infantry unit is fantastic. I don't know. Having a cheaper chariot would help too. Like I was saying with the Tuskor chariot, like the Razorgore chariot's really strong, but it's just a little expensive. If you had a cheaper chariot, like right in that 750, 850 range, I think that would help quite a bit as well for that like cheaper anti-infantry. Your point, like armored infantry especially. But a Tuskor chariot, I would assume, would fit into that role. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. I've got some stuff I've got to do, but sorry, Gobbo Slayer. Yeah, yeah, man, that's kind of a bummer. I was hoping to just get through this last game real quick because I do have some things I need to go and do in about 15-20 minutes. So to wait and then have to play the game after, I just don't know if I have time. I know, Ice Power, I'd hate to do that to you, end your reign that way, but Yeah, I think that's going to be it for me for today, guys. So thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Keep keep an eye, if you're not on my Discord, definitely get on Discord, because I'm going to be posting announcements for Twitch streams there. I will be posting announcements on YouTube as well from time to time, but these sorts of impromptu King of the Hill streams will be on Twitch for the most part from now on. So yeah, thanks guys. Awesome time. See y'all later. Bye bye now.